told you they support, then get the fuck out of my halls. I run this country, we run this country, right? They've got to start losing. I'm sorry to say, but they've got to start losing. We can't give them our vote just because they wear the right color. Because we can elect people who really represent us. Elect people in our neighborhoods, elect people in your town, elect people in elect your own mayor, elect people who really represent us to take over this and kick those assholes out. We're in a country with one of the highest maternity mortality rates in the world, no paid maternity leave, no universal subsidized childcare, no postnatal parent care, inaccessible mental health care, and now we're saying, you know what? Have some forced birth on top of it. Like, American people, poor people, minoritized people, it's not minority people. We're not minorities, we're minoritized, right? We've been made this way. We've been killed off and forced here, right? So we're just not minorities. It didn't happen by accident, right? And now they're telling us, people who would identify as female, that they're gonna refuse to protect the rights that they swore to us they would not only protect, but bolster. It's been 50 years chipping away at it. It's just the beginning. All the unenumerated rights that were named in this draft opinion are being stripped and chipped away. It's not just the right to abortion, right? It's not just the right to vote. Every one of these rights are now at risk. And so we've got to start paying more attention. 2020 is the year. 2022 has to be the year. Because if it's not now, then where are we going to be at next year? If we continue to wait for them to do better, where are we going to be at next year? We got to do better. We've got to do better. The filibuster's got to be abolished. It's got to go. All right? We heard the Judiciary Act. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's stand here and protest day and night. We did it last summer. We can do it again. Right? They got to hear us. And we got to make them hear us. Right? The Roe's got to be codified. So this Women's Health Protection Act, it's got to happen. It's about damn time it happens, because Roe was breadcrumbs. And we got to eat. Now, I'm a person who's in law school, and I think a big problem is that lawyers got us here, right? There's a reason in America that there's such a bad taste in people's mouth when it comes to lawyers. I got into law because I wanted to make a difference. I got into law because I got tired of looking at the problems and not being able to do anything about them, right? I always say the law can be a sword and it can be a shield. You can use it to fuck people over, you can use it to fight for people, right? And so I'm here to say that as lawyers, anybody who's out there who's practiced law, who's in law school, who's about to get into law, who knows the law, who can read the law, you gotta step the fuck up. It's our job to be the shield. It's our job to be the sword of justice. It's our job to protect people who can't protect themselves. And if we aren't doing better, then we're failing ourselves and we're failing this entire country. So step up and unfuck the law. 4 more seats!
Unfuck the law. Come on. Yeehaw. 4 more seats. Thank you so much, Jordan. And I like being around smart people. Don't you like being around smart people? Don't you like being around smart people who care about people? I know that can sound cheesy, but like in moments like this, the sun is shining on us because we're on the right side of history. There's going to be a moment they're going to ask you, where were you when they try to take away your bodily autonomy? You're going to say, I was out here with the right people in front of the Supreme Court talking about the right things at the right time. So, the coalition to build a better democracy also includes our friends at the League of Women Voters. So I'm really, really excited to have with us Alma Perverte. Did I say her name right? Oh, yes.
Buenas tardes, everyone. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. My name is Alma Cubetier. I am the National Organizing Director for the League of Women Voters. And I hear people saying, are you surprised? And I know that the answer should be no. But if you are like me, you can't help have this feeling of surprise. Why is that? And I've been sitting with that since yesterday, and I think it is because, and this is personal, it's because if you're like me, you hope for the best in us. You hope that people in power are going to make the right decisions to protect the vulnerable, the marginalized, to protect individual liberties and rights. And this is the opposite of what's happening right now. We believe in this America. That's the vision. That's what we fight. That's what we get up every day to do the work that we do. And we believe that this is a democracy worth fighting for. And that's why we are here together today, because we believe that all people deserve access to quality health care, including abortion and the privacy to make reproductive choices. Today, Roe versus Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey are still the law of the land. And we will stand with our allies to protect women's access to care. It is critical that we continue to show up like we have done yesterday, like we are doing today, like we will continue to do for endless days. This is the long fight. I just want us to be clear of that. This is not gonna be resolved overnight. It took 50 years for them to chip away at these decisions. We need to get ready for what's coming. Reproductive care is essential health care, and it is a fundamental right that the Supreme Court is preparing to undermine. And if this draft opinion holds and overturns Roe versus Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey, it not only strips women and pregnant people of their personal autonomy, but believe me, it will open the door to erode more fundamental rights. And we've seen it with voting rights. We've seen it at the state level. We've seen it with immigrant rights. We've seen it with women's rights and reproductive rights. All of these issues are connected. All of these issues are about us. We need to stand together with each other to make sure that our rights continue to be protected and that we continue to build the strongest and better democracy that really represents each and every one of us. Thank you so much. The League of Women Voters of the United States stands with all of our allies and partners in this fight, and we will continue for as long as it takes. Thank you.
Give it up for Alma, yes. Well, Alma was speaking. What I think about when we're in these moments is that when the forefathers formed this country, they were not thinking about me. They weren't thinking about most of y'all either. And that what my legacy will be is to create the country that they thought they were going to create. That we're going to correct the blind spots that they all of a sudden didn't see. We're going to make sure that like black and brown and folks who have youth, all these different people who are not white men who own land get to be full citizens. Adding 4 seats is a pathway to full citizenship for all of us. Just because you have a piece of paper that says you're American, history will tell some of you, I already know this, that can be taken away from you so quickly because this court decides who's human or not. That's not how my democracy will work. And I hope that's not how your democracy will work. So before I bring up our last speaker, I want to also just thank some of our partners who couldn't be here today. So Just Democracy and 51 for 51, the Sunrise Movement and Greenpeace. And again, thank you, Indivisible, Take Back the Court, Center for Popular Democracy, People's Parity Project. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your leadership. Last up, I'm gonna bring up someone who's like my best friend in my head. She don't know that, but she knows this now. But who has a very clear sense of how this democracy that we are fighting for is so connected to the fight for 4 seats. So I'm really excited to bring up Megan Hatcher-Mays from Indivisible.
Thanks, Amber. We are best friends in real life, too. Hey, I'm Megan Hatcher-Mays. I'm the Director of Democracy Policy for Indivisible, and I just want you to understand that this is a democracy issue, okay? Like, this is linked. So first, they erode our democracy. That's what they did first, right? They gutted the Voting Rights Act, making it almost impossible for certain kinds of people, and I think you can guess who, making it nearly impossible for them to vote, making it nearly impossible for us to exact political redress against people who do things that we don't like. By the way, what they're doing is incredibly unpopular, right? And yet there's seemingly nothing we can do about it. And why is that? Because they also fucked us over and our democracy too. So that's what they do. They erode our democracy. They erode the fundamentals of our democracy, making it difficult to hold people accountable who then go on to strip our other fundamental rights, including our right to have an abortion. That is what is happening right now. So when you read that opinion, which again, I think we can all say we expected it to come, but there was something viscerally upsetting about seeing it in black and white, seeing that I and all of us are second-class citizens in the eyes of 6 unelected extremists who decided that we are nothing. And for Samuel Alito to just sort of caustically dismiss abortion like it's nothing, it hurt, it was painful. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to say I wasn't surprised, but I feel like a deep pain that I didn't know that I was going to feel when I eventually saw that this case come down, right? So in this opinion, he says, it's okay, we're just returning the question of abortion back to the states, knowing full well the states are fucked too. And why is that? Because of Samuel Alito. You see the vicious cycle that we're in here? So this is our moment, you guys. There's a really grim future that awaits us if we do nothing at all. By the way, the game plan is obvious because they've told us. Samuel Alito told us. He laid it all out in a blueprint in this opinion. Senate Republicans explicitly told us just a couple weeks ago during Ketanji Brown Jackson's confirmation hearings, they said straight up, if you strike down the legal principles that underpin Roe v. Wade, doesn't that also mean we have to strike down gay marriage, we have to strike down the case that gave us access to contraception, and doesn't that also mean we have to strike down the case that prohibited states from criminalizing private consensual sexual encounters between gay men? Doesn't it also mean that? And the answer is yes, it does. So this is not just about abortion, and it does not stop this summer. Next, it's contraception access, then it's gay marriage, then it's interracial marriage. I know we all thought that one was safe. It's not. Bad news for my parents, okay? Forced divorce. Then they're coming for private sexual relationships. It does not end here. So this is our moment to do something about it. I love what People's Parity Project said earlier. They don't get our vote just because of the letter next to their name. But what we do need to do is expand our majority in the Senate, keep our majority in the House, do everything we can to keep and expand our majority with good Democrats, with better Democrats, with progressives, real progressives. So not just folks, because it's really easy to check off the box and say, oh, of course I support codifying, or of course I support the Women's Health Protection Act, unless you're Joe Manchin or Henry Cuellar. Then it's difficult, right? But it's another thing entirely to say, I'm willing to do what it takes to keep that right, to protect that right in perpetuity. And to do that, we have to pass the Women's Health Protection Act. Of course, that's critical. But then we have to add seats to the Supreme Court. There is no other choice. There is no other policy, single-handedly, that will protect this right and all of our constitutional rights, all of the ones. Think of every single constitutional right that is not explicitly written down in the Constitution. That is at risk, unless you are a corporation or a gun, okay? So this is our moment. We can avoid this grim future by doing everything we can to win in November, and win well, win with good people who are willing to do what it takes to end the filibuster, pass the Women's Health Protection Act, and then protect our right to an abortion by undermining the 6 unelected freaks who want to deny us our basic fundamental constitutional rights. So, thank you. You have your marching orders. Help us win. Let's get this done. It's not too late. There are more of us than there are of them. We can do this, but we have to stay in the game. Thank you so much. Let's expand the courts.
There are more of us than they are of them. Don't forget that, y'all. There's more of us. Okay, wait. There are more of us than there are of them. So what's that mean? We've got the power. What do we have? Power. What? Power. Again. Power. I don't believe you. Power. Okay, I'll believe you a little bit. So first off, thank y'all for sending in the ancestors' light. The sun came out because of us. I just want to claim that. We're on the right side of history. The light will shine on you. So this is the end of our program, but I really, really, really encourage folks to come back out at 5 p.m. or stay out here, get a snacky snack, drink some water, find some shade. But at 5 p.m., this is why 5 p.m. is really important. 5 p.m. is the fight the people of DC, do y'all know that there's people who live in DC, right? Do you know that there's people who pay taxes in DC who do not have representation? Do you know that people who live in DC, this is important, because they don't have statehood, they don't really get a voice in what it means to have representation on this court. So then what does that mean for our bodily autonomy as a DC resident? Think about that. We are living, anyway, I won't preach. So at 5 o'clock today, come out and join Shut Down DC, Harriet's Wildest Dream, to really talk about and center Black people in this moment. Black women, Black folks with uteruses who are in the front line. Because I want to tell y'all something. I'm going to say this. For some people, 2016, you woke up and decided that I'm going to join the revolution. Right? But I'm telling you right now, there have been Black and brown women who have been telling you every single day that the attack on our bodies that started with us will end with you if we do not do this fight together. So come out at 5 p.m. with great DC organizers and activists who are on the front line to protect our bodies and our democracy.